master's degree with the University of Ghana, MA Energy Law, awaiting graduation. I'm also a student of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in the 3rd level. Mr. Chairman, I am married with 4 kids. And I always call myself, I said I'm a trained teacher, a practicing accountant, and then a career politician. Mr. Chairman, I am someone who likes community services, and my interests are always on teaching, traveling, and reading. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My career started with Trans Automobile Limited, then to the Union Oil Ghana Limited, Petroleum Ghana Limited, and then to Desert Oil, where I quit and then joined politics finally. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. I'll call in Honorable Jerry to give some introductory remarks.
Honorable Gyan-Mensah, I expect you to be extra comfortable. I know you have the capacity to deal with the issues as they come up. For me, the only caveat is that you are a man of your own, and therefore you are largely independent and you have the deliverables to go, the wherewithal, to let the Ghanaian people understand that the president has not made a wrong choice. So I expect you to go in to assist, but and with the mindset that you can tomorrow be a minister as well. So please, let's just go on that tangent, and I'm sure it will be a very good day for all of us. You are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. I think I will add to what Honorable Jerry has said about you, that what you are here to be interviewed on, which is basically your background, your experience, your competence, and your skills to fulfill the duty that is ahead of you. I have no doubt that you have the background. I have no doubt that you have the experience, and I'm absolutely sure that you have the competence and the skills for this role. But we'll still ask you questions. So I'm going to start basically with subject matter nominees here, or nominated by your side. And I will start with the Honorable former Deputy Minister. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. My brother, congratulations. And Chairman, let me disclose that Richard is a very, very good friend of mine. But I have to do my job. So I have some few questions for him. I know he's supported by very strong people behind him. I've seen Mr. Butler, who is an industry player. My brother, a few questions. The Public Utility Workers Union of TUC, over the years, have been against the privatization of ECG. Recently, I saw your minister inaugurate a committee to look at the privatization of ECG. What is your view on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think my minister's discussion or his take on the privatization of ECG is something that has become very necessary. We all can actually witness currently some issues that is going on with respect to ECG. So ECG currently needs capital injection. There are a lot of inefficiencies in the system. And I believe that bringing on board the private sector will play a very key role in resolving some of these challenges, and also to make them financially buoyant, to ensure that we have consistent and stable power supplies. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that even though the TUC has raised concerns, I think the direction that the minister has actually articulated is actually in the interest of Ghana and also for ECG.
You have a follow-up?
No, I don't.
Or next?
I think he has a follow-up.
Oh, you have a follow-up. Okay, please go ahead.
Boss, congratulations. Just a follow-up on this. While looking at privatization, over the years, it's normally about foreign players coming into the industry. Would you want to consider local players or a clearly local team that would take charge? Because that sector is a very important one. If you leave it out to foreign participants, I'm sure we'll not be able to pay for the tariffs that they will hit for us. Would you consider, institutional and local investors who would want to participate in this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in the first place, I would like to draw attention that the privatization that it's been discussed, that is not to say that the whole ECG is going to be privatized. It is a section of their activities, mainly when you look at the distribution and then, or normally what is the billing, and then the collections is what the government is looking at privatizing, and that is to bring in private companies. This in companies, I think, Mr. Chairman, I would say that I have not had extensive discussion with my minister, but I believe that Ghana we have the Local Content Act. So whatever it is, it will not be left in the hands of foreign players. There would be private players if there need be.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
All right. So, my brother, the NPA rolled out a program they call the cylinder recirculation model. It has encountered some fierce resistance in terms of its mode of implementation from the LPG marketing companies. And I have a press release from the LPG marketing companies where they reiterate the agreement with NPA and think that this model can exit with the refilling model. Are you aware of this particular CRM policy?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The CRM, I am very much abreast with the CRM. But I must say, Mr. Chairman, currently, my minister have not given me his indication on the CRM. But I would say, I'm saying this on my own to say that I think that the CRM, because I have been an industry player, well, the lesson I can say is that there's a need for us to engage the players. It is not enough to say that we should suspend the program entirely. But it's important, if I get opportunity, I would advise my minister to engage the local players, that is the players currently in the system, and also to get to know their real issues and the concerns that they have raised, vis-a-vis what the regulator is also proposing. Currently, I know they are running it concurrently. The CRM is in place, and then the local players also have theirs, that is the bottling, the usual bottling one is also, so they are running it parallelly. But I think that it is important for us to not just brush it away, but sit down with them and then engage. I was in a meeting just about a week ago, and I heard the leader of the LPG distributors who made a strong case on this issue. So I would actually speak with my minister for us to consider having engagement with them. And I believe that the reports that will come out will determine whether it should be pursued or to be suspended. Thank you.
Chairman, I think I have my last one. For the past 3 weeks to 1 month, we've been experiencing some intermittent power situations, especially from those of us from the Ashanti region. And in my constituency specifically, the lights goes off at 6 p.m. The lights goes off at 6 p.m. comes up around 1 a.m. And it's happening especially in Ashanti region. There's been news reportage on that. And the reality on the ground is that not only Ashanti region, but other regions are experiencing the same. I just want to find out from you, is Dumso back?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to assure my brother that Dumso is not back. We all experienced a period of Dumso, and we know what we went through in terms of even the time of when the lights goes off. There were shadows and all those things. What we see now, I cannot deny the fact that there has been some packet of some light, the lights going off in some areas, but that has not been something that you can describe as Dumso. However, I want to alert you that I believe that you are just the immediate past Deputy Minister for Energy. And then you know that currently the West African gas pipeline is under maintenance. And most of our thermal plants use the gas from Nigeria. Those coming from Takoradi, because the pipeline is being worked on, we cannot bring the product from even Takoradi. And then also, government have made provision for liquid fuel to supplement it. However, there are some plants which are exclusively LPG, which I think that once there is a maintenance work, they may not get the needed gas to power their plants. And then also, I would want to add that I listened to my minister on TV, and West African Pipelines gave assurance that by the 6th of March, they will be done with their maintenance work. And I believe that once that is done, we will get enough gas to power the thermal plant. And this sense, you will not see it again. At least with my minister in place and myself, we work and make sure that this narrative of doing so will never come up again.
Oh, please, please. I don't want to argue with my brother. Oh, I follow up. Take your time. I don't want to argue with my brother, but I like his honesty that he says we are experiencing some challenges. I wish you well, my brother. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Honorable nominee, I know that you are eloquent, you are competent to answer the questions put before you. But please, stay within what you are here for, and that is being vetted for a deputy minister designated. You are not here to talk about policy issues, because you will support the policies of your substantive minister so that we can smoothen this process. Just word of advice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I will invite Honorable Shaibu to do a follow-up on the former Deputy Minister's questions. Honorable Shaibu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable nominee, is it the case that the question that the Honorable Minister, former Deputy Minister asked, is it the case that in the last 2-3 months we have experienced such sort of interruptions and power on and offs?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair, respectfully. I think
Honorable Leader.
The re-examination.
Honorable Leader, I haven't given you the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
You have the floor now.
Thank you very much, my very nice chairman. Mr. Chair, I think that my brother, who is a learned colleague, should stop the re-examination. The man there is very capable. The question has been asked, he's going to answer, he's answered them. Please, let's proceed. If we continue like this, we'll keep re-examining people and won't leave this place. It's just not necessary.
You may answer the question. Honorable nominee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to assure my brother that this is something that we even experienced during December. This is not new to us.
Okay. Honorable members, let's have one person, please.
Thank you.
I'm now going to go to my right and call Honorable. I'm dealing with subject matter now. So then I'll come back to you. Honorable, you have the floor.
All right. Congratulations, my brother. I have no doubt that you would perform to solidify our confidence in you. Well, talking about ECG, which happens to be the main topic of discussions. ECG being the distributor at the last stage of the value chain is confronted with a lot of problems. One has to do with the debt owed by government institutions. That's so crucial. And then also, we're talking about billing. Standardized billing. ECG has a problem with the amount of power that is produced and the billing that it does. Tell me, do you think that ECG should go the way of technology in such that from production to distribution, smart grids, using of efficient ways of energy and others, do you think that the way to go is that to go the way of technology in ensuring that technology is embedded from start to finish in order to ensure that revenue gotten at the stage can be used to satisfy all the debt? Do you get my questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I strongly support the view that technology should be employed, at least to minimize the human interferences in our processes. I believe once it is done that way, some of the challenges that confront ECG can be resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. The prices of electricity in Ghana happens to be one of the highest.
Honorable member, is this a follow-up question? The next question. All right. So this is your second question.
My second question.
Please go ahead.
Prices of electricity in Ghana can be considered to be one of the highest, among the highest in Africa. There are suggestions that the generation mix, there's the need for us to look at renewable energy, i.e. solar energy and others. What is your view on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you directed, these are issues that mostly the policy side of it, I am yet to be informed from my minister. But I can say that currently Ghana, we have a mixed power generation. So we have a bit of the thermal, we have a bit of the renewables. However, we know that the thermal is quite expensive. So everyone is advocating for the renewable energies, which, if you look at the name of my ministry, Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, and the line of green transition, it relies more on the renewable energy. And I think that we should pursue renewable energy in the nuclear and even gas itself, mini dams, and then solar, which is currently something that the ministry is working on. Thank you.
A follow-up on that. Honorable nominee, in areas such as the areas of Afenyo, we're still talking about energy, cost of energy. Mr. Chairman, it is difficult when electricity is produced in Akosomo and transported all the way to a place like Axim, which makes it so expensive. So in areas where, like Afenyo, where there are views that we should look at off-grids, where we don't have to rely so much on the main source of production, would you consider advising your minister that such policy should be pursued?
Thank you. I will consider that.
Chairman, my last question. Carbon credit. It is a known fact that Africa in general contributes less than 7% to the CO2 production worldwide. But then also, there is this agenda that we, as a nation, as a globe, should move away from fossil fuel. Honorable Minister, Honorable Dominique, how do you advise a developing country like Ghana that has so much oil, that wants to bet on it for development? How do you advise such a country to say that leave your fossil fuel and then pursue renewable energy when the big states such as China and America are still producing so much pollution in regards to CO2? What would you advise for a country like Ghana in that regard?
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, my advice is that moving to renewables doesn't mean that we should abandon fossil fuel. It is a gradual process, and that is why it is called transition. So in the long run, we're all looking at the bigger picture, but we'll combine it. Ghana, as you mentioned, we have a lot of fossil fuel or hydrocarbons, which we cannot allow it to be stranded. We are still also pursuing the renewables as well. So we'll do the blend and make sure that at least at the end of the day, we achieve a net zero carbon. That is in the long term.
Follow-up question. Thank you, Honorable Nominee. This issue about carbon credit, it is a platform where developing countries like...
Honorable, hold on. Did you say a follow-up question of which? Of the last one. Of the last one, okay. Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Honorable Nominee, still on carbon credit, there is so much funds available when it comes to carbon credit. I've been thinking that instead of just planting trees, what would you say that we consider people like rubber farmers, rubber plantation farmers, and other palm oil plantation, palm tree plantation farmers, where we give support to these people? So just instead of just planting trees, we look at commercial tree planting, which will generate funds for the farmer at the end of the month, as opposed to just trees. Do you think it's a good idea to look at that option too?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think in Ghana we have the Tree Crop Authority, which is focused on the planting of trees for commercial purpose or for food. So these are some of the things that we are already doing in Ghana. Even though I know my ministry is actually not into that, there's a ministry responsible for that. But I support the idea that whatever tree planting that we intend doing, we should not just look at it just for the trees or something, but it should also have an immediate economic benefit to the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now want to go to Honorable George Abuachi on my left. Abuaji on my left. You have the floor, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Nominee, congratulations. A very good friend and a classmate. As you are aware, investment to upstream sector is declining. Do you anticipate any changes in the fiscal regime governing the upstream petroleum sector to promote investment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as a Deputy Minister, I would assist my minister that whatever we have to do to entice a lot more investors into the upstream, we do that. And I believe that currently there are some agreements that we may have to look at it, and also the whole regime may have to be reviewed. Once we are doing the review, it's automatically that things that has to do with the fiscal regime would also be considered. So I'll work closely with my minister to ensure that whatever we have to do to make sure that upstream becomes very attractive, we'll pursue that. And my minister, through the I have listened to him on radio, and even when he came for his vetting, indicated that he will put things in place to attract investors into the upstream.
Yes, Honorable.
Honorable Chairman, this is a follow-up question.
Sure, go ahead.
There are serious production shortfalls in all our oil fields. The Jubilee field has gone past its half-life, and there are decommissioning plans in the offing. What plans do you have or propose to boost the output of existing oil fields?
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Chairman, as I earlier indicated, this powers, they all has to do with the policy issues, which I would work with my minister. However, I would say that there are also equally a lot of wells that have not been worked on. Our government is looking at getting on board so many wells so that we can improve upon our upstream production. Currently, I think, as you said, I looked at the numbers and it wasn't encouraging. We went as high as almost about 179,000. Now we are hovering around 89,000 barrels a day, which is not encouraging.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
If you still have any.
Yeah. Energy efficiency and conservation are key factors in a country's development. What are the strategies to achieve it? With your support to the minister, energy conservation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With energy conservation and efficiency, I think the most effective strategy that will be employed is education. And then also the implementation of the existing regulations in that area. So I would actually support my minister for us to enhance the education for effective energy use. And then also, in terms of the regulations that are currently in place, we'll make sure that it's fully implemented. And then encourage people to use new appliances. I think that's also another way of ensuring energy efficiency. Currently, I've heard a new thing that is what they call response demand, which is when people will be, whilst we educate, people will learn how to use energy or power less even within the peak period. And this can help our energy security.
My last question. Thank you. The generation mix of this country have majority of the power plants being peaking plants. Per your government energy policy, do you have plans to include a base load plant to bring down cost of power?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I listened to my minister, Honorable John Jinapo, at his vetting. He indicated that his administration and the NDC government will consider the introduction of nuclear energy or nuclear power, which is one source of base load. And it is also very, in terms of costs, it's very affordable, and that can translate and help our prices to be lower. So I must say that I would encourage my minister to pursue the area of bringing on board the base load generation, which is nuclear and even mini dams that we can invest in to also help our energy mix.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman.
Just hold on a second. Leader, you're welcome. I'm going to suggest that you take your rightful place. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. A very good friend. I wish you well. We will meet.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're done. Okay, I'm going to revert back to my right and invite Honorable Umar to take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, for this opportunity. Honorable nominee, congratulations. I wish you well. But I have a question regarding the trends of power price structure in Ghana and looking at the cost. Should we expect new tariffs?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would like to find out from the honorable member, new tariff as in high, low, or stable? Thank you.
Any?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the tariff in Ghana, mostly from the little information I've had, indicates that about 60% of it is made up of generational costs. And then other factors are also added to it. I believe that if we are able to manage the cost of generation, it is very likely that the cost of generation, if we're able to manage it and reduce it, and then also when we are able to also work on the distribution and then collection losses in the system, it will help the prices or the tariff to come down. However, if we're not able to do this, it will be a problem for us. But that is where I come in as a deputy minister. I'll work closely with my minister and ensure that whichever effective strategies we have to put in place to make sure that we get a very relatively low generational costs and also work efficiently to reduce the distribution and then collection losses, it will help bring the tariff down. Thank you.
You have a follow-up or a next question?
Next question.
Okay, please. Go ahead.
Honorable nominee, this question, I don't need any explanation. No details. I just want no or yes. And I'm going to read. As a deputy minister, you are coming to support. Are you, one, ready to support your minister to initiate the Light Up Ghana project to support the 24-hour economy by resuming the universal street lighting program? Yes or no?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will support my minister.
Thank you. Are you ready to support your minister to promptly resolve all disputes between upstream oil and gas players and the government of Ghana?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will support my minister.
Are you ready to support your minister to apply ESLA for its intended purposes?
Honorable member, if that's a follow-up question, that will not be allowed. Please ask your substantive, because you've already asked a follow-up question. Please, go to your last question. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you ready to apply ESLA, support your minister to apply ESLA, that is ESLA, for its intended purposes?
Yes, I will support my minister.
I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable member. I would like to stay on my rights. Then before I come to honorable, you take it, okay. All right, so then we'll exhaust the side, and then you take the issue. Okay, so I will exhaust the right-hand side, and then I'll give the leader the opportunity to come in. And hopefully he will wrap up from his end, and I can wrap the whole meeting up. Thank you. When it comes, yeah, because I didn't know you wanted to. Yeah, okay. So please, you have the...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations, Deputy Minister. In the previous government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the then Minister Finance attempted to transition ministry, department, and agencies to use the solar energy to reduce the government bill that has to be paid. What are you going to do to, push for this to take place? Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is something that my minister has indicated that he's going to pursue. That is, government institutions, including even parliament, are going to be given, or they're going to install solar panels in government institutions, which includes parliament. So I will support my minister to pursue this.
On this note, Mr. Chair, congratulations. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me get some understanding here from the leader. Leader, you did say that you will wrap, that exclude Honorable Patrick Boama. All right, okay, fair enough. Honorable Patrick Boama, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Chair. And congratulations, Richard. And I'm sure the Methodist Church will be proud of you. You know about Ghana Oil Company Limited. It's an agency under your ministry. They recently constructed a $45 million bitumen plant in Tema to reduce the importation of bitumen into the country, which stands about 11-point-something billion $1 million a year. I don't know your briefing. Were you briefed on this plant and how you are going to increase the production level of bitumen through that facility to assist with the road construction in this country? I don't know if you got the right briefing on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have not had briefing on this.
Smart one. then you need proper briefing on that. Because I've seen some appointments being made to GOIL and the board of GOIL and what have you.
I will protect you if you agree to conclude.
Chairman, am I being harassed?
I wouldn't do that to you. Please feel free and go ahead.
I wish the nominee well, Chairman.
Thank you.
Patrick Boama, as reasonable a man as you've always been. Honorable Ladi, you have the floor now. And then after you, we'll come to the leader.
I will not be tempted. You see now.
Honorable, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, my brother. There is an issue I have observed, and it's quite worrying. It looks like many times it eludes every government, not only this. The issue of our institutions. When I talk of our institutions, especially our tertiary and secondary schools, you tend to realize that sometimes they have a lot of electricity bills to pay. And it's very difficult for them. That's giving the masters, the principals, what have you, a big headache. Sometimes even they get cut off and they suffer a lot. I know solar power may look expensive. As a deputy, if fortunately you are given the nod, will you consider suggesting to your minister that at least our tertiary institutions and the secondary schools should be given some solar lighting opportunity so that it would reduce this problem of ours? Because most of our institutions, I believe that they can get enough sunshine to get solar lights working. Will you make that suggestion to your minister?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would suggest and then support my minister in this regard.
If I tell you that excellent, again, I will get another boost, but I will say it excellent. Our markets. where most of us women, sometimes we go to the market, we even stay into the night. And we also go very early. Many times the women get there when it's quite dark in the morning, and they leave very late. But you realize there is no enough lighting in the markets. No street lights. The places are not properly wired. So sometimes you have market fires, and sometimes even they lose some items because they tend not to see or know when there is darkness. Some of the things that may be pilfered away or whatsoever. Will you suggest to your minister, when you get the nod, that our markets should be taken care of? There should be enough lighting systems, street lights, all over the market, and that the stores in the markets that use electricity should be looked into, and the women should be supported to ensure that wiring to their stores are properly done. Because you may go and see one pole with more than 20 connections. And when there is any least mistake, the place gets engulfed in fire. Will you suggest this to the minister? And will you follow up? Because I will follow you and ask you about it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I will do that. I will actually suggest to my minister and also make sure I follow up on it.
More than excellent. I'll add a 0 to the 100 to make it 1,000%. And I won't say bye-bye, because if I say it and add to the excellent, it will be another story. Be ready. I will come to your office and follow up on these things to prompt you that you have to ensure that you remind your minister about this. I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Much, Honorable Member, Honorable Leader, with your indulgence, I want to continue to stay on the right and ask Honorable Shaibu to come in. Then after that, I'll cede the floor to you. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm exceedingly grateful. Honorable nominee, congratulations one more time. I want us to go back to GOIL, and this time around, whether you have the briefing or not, because you have been a player in the downstream, you have a fair idea. What is the state of GOIL as we speak today, from your experience on the downstream industry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, even though I've been in the downstream for some time, at least for the last 5 years, I've been in Parliament. I've not actually been following what goes on in GOIL. GOIL is a listed company. This year, their accounts are not out. So if it's out, I'll be able to speak to it because I've not received any briefing. But if the accounts are out, at least based on that, as an accountant, I'll be able to tell the performance of GOIL. Thank you.
Thank you. One other critical one, and I know that it affects most legislators seated here, those of us who represent rural communities. Rural water supply has become a big issue. And even though when you manage to get a borehole to the communities, now electricity is extended to those communities. We try to do connectivity to mechanize those boreholes for the communities. Payment of electricity bill on those mechanized boreholes has been a big issue. I know that street lighting is charged to the entire generality of the population. Is that the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Now, mechanized borehole for rural communities is for the entire community. Why would we be billing the community for, a service that is akin to a street light for the entire community, would you suggest to your minister, or take this up when you get to office, that mechanization of rural communities is not for commercial purpose, it is for the community usage? Would you suggest that this be treated like street lighting, and that you don't bill those to the communities?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think it's a fantastic idea you have actually shared here. I would actually also recommend it to my minister, and then we'll see how best we can take this thing on. Thank you.
On this note, Mr. Speaker, let me wish my good friend the very best. I know you will do well at the ministry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. At this stage, you want to ask the question? Please, see the questions. Please, I'll call in the leader to take the floor. To take the floor. Leader, you have the floor.
How many master's degrees do you have?
Mr. Chairman, I have one, and I have another one. I'm awaiting graduation.
Are you done with school, or you are still on your project work?
Mr. Chairman, I'm done with school.
Have you submitted all academic work for assessment?
Mr. Chairman, I've done so.
The assessment of your project work has not been marked and result published, correct?
Mr. Chairman, it's been marked and it's been published.
Can you provide evidence of same to this committee with the leave of chairman?
Honorable nominee, I grant you the leave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll do so.
One of your referees, you provided reference. You provided 2 referees on your CV. One of them says you are opinionated. What do you say to that?
Mr. Chairman, I don't share in that view because I'm not.
But you provided his name, not us. You provided the name of an individual to be your referee for the purposes of this vetting. And the person says you are opinionated when the records of his knowledge of you was sought. And you are challenging that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if I have to respond, I would say that, as it is said, opinion is something that that's how people see things. So if that is how we send it, I will also assess myself and try to do the right thing.
Yeah, but he has worked with you, and you, for all the people in the world, you felt that these are people who know you well. Are you suggesting that you have a disagreement with the view expressed that you opinionated?
Mr. Chairman, as I earlier said, that is the view somebody has seen and actually...
Not somebody, your own referee.
So that is a view my referee has shared. I have actually taken notes.
I take it in good faith. Say so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. So continue. I'm aiding you with the phrase. I take it in good faith.
So, Mr. Chairman, I take it in good faith.
Going to be a deputy minister. Your substantive minister is very assertive. If you carry this opinionated posture to him, you will suffer. I've been in government before. You'll be reading newspapers. That is why I want you to have the opportunity of making a statement on that. Because this is coming from your own referee. You want to be the deputy minister who will be reading newspapers? Is that what you want?
No, Mr. Chairman.
What do you say to this reference, character reference position that you opinionated? The nation is listening to you. Your minister is listening to you.
Mr. Chairman, as I earlier indicated, I take it in good faith, and I'll try and work towards it.
You are, however, also described as being a go-getter, responsible and diligent. What assurances have you to your minister regarding these positive traits?
Mr. Chairman, I assure my minister that I'm going to employ all these traits.
Now, Asin Gomwa Brofedu, where is that located? Is it the one on the Straight Road, or that's differently located elsewhere?
Mr. Chairman, that is on the Ankamud Mankasim Road.
And that's where Daddy comes from, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you don't come from there, do you?
Mr. Chairman, I come from Gomwa Sempin. That is my mother's hometown.
Now, what is the state of the roads in Gomwa? What did you say? Sempene? Asempene. Answer me in Gomwa. Your response to this question should be in Gomwa.
Hold on. Yes. Hold on a second. This has to do with constituency. Honorable Leader, if you want to go the local language way, may I also remind you that our standing orders suggest that it's translated so that it can be captured in the report. Otherwise, it will not be in the report. So what is your option?
No, Chairman. We can assist in the translation. Otherwise, the record can be transcribed. For that to be done, it's not a problem at all. I mean, this is to the nation. Brofuno ya doso. Inti yeze ifrefrema. Then it's constituent. Once when there, oba hano gumuyampa oti gumwa onimwon how and all that. So that shouldn't be a problem at all. We shouldn't have a problem. What I'm saying is that I want him to speak. Hajia, when I got somebody to speak Hausa, you see, Hajia, when I got somebody to speak your language, they spoke, is it Wale, and they spoke Hausa, you were so happy. Now you're saying that what did leader say? Did you translate that, the other one? Very well. I was basically saying that when he gets opportunities to speak his mother tongue, those constituents will know that one of their own is here, and the necessary inspiration could be drawn. And there's a need for us to spice it, this whole process with our Ghanaian language. Enough of the brofo, and all that. Yeah.
Leader, I do agree with you absolutely. What I'm saying is, if Honorable does that, I would like him to have it in English so that it can be captured in the report. That's basically.
Chairman, you are a good man. There's no problem at all.
All right. Okay.
So
please go ahead.
Go ahead and answer that in Gomwa. You are not going to speak Fanti. You are going to speak Gomwa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Mikro Mukwain, Fiti Chirinkwanta, Rekwa Sempin, Ukwain Wongudu da.
O constituency hona nkasa nyina Gomwa West. Akwan to the entire constituency. Akwan to the
Gomwa West.
Hold on, Leader. I don't want to be doing this, but your question, which is being asked in Fanti or Gomwa, for us to know the questions you are asking, for which he is providing answers for, we would like to have your question that you ask in English as well.
What is the state of your roads in the constituency, Gomwa West constituency?
Mr. Chairman, Gomwa Akwan ni nyinara nye.
Now, within the past 8 years, referring to the Akufo-Addo administration, were some of the roads done?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
In English, please, leader, before he answers.
Yeah, I said it in English.
You said, is it the same one? I thought you said move on. Okay.
Okay.
So you also do it in English so that we can capture the conversation.
Mr. Chairman, within the last 8 years, a section of the Gomwa Ankamo to Gomwa Isikuma Road, just about 3 kilometers of it was tarred. This is a 15-kilometer road, but about 3 kilometers was tarred.
Are there some ongoing projects in terms of the road, ongoing road construction that the contractors are yet to complete?
Mr. Chairman, all roads that were started even in 2020 were not completed. They were all abandoned. However, in the last 2 weeks, the Gomwa Asen Township Road, the contractor has returned to site and is working on it.
Can you say that in your mother tongue, that answer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From 2020, every 2020, Akwanya Abansha say ordinance kind a bit today, Mankwadi Road, Abrekum Road, Ankamu de Rampon Road, Asen Township Road, the Markwanya Yinara, contractors in Wofido Sanda Ben with Chawaka. Nemum, a year now to be by Saint Chemi, and a year contractor was Asen Township Road on the Wakodori and Wejuma, Australia, Wutu and the camp now, Wutu me good order mine.
So this contractor who is back on your road is still yet to be paid, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Your first term as a member of parliament, what were some of the support you received from government for your constituents? Say that in your mother tongue.
Mr. Chairman, my first term in parliament, I buy him war my constituency. My common fan, I buy Uchiai, the member of parliament. Ne brano, Biara also to the Utia, Uchiai. The common fan, on ban ne brano. Internet, and then Mamusma Sakaya, common fund, educational fund, a year gets fund, and a year health insurance, social intervention. And then the Biara said, Oban, Mr. Kambi Mabdi Juma, Oguma West.
Honorable nominee, if you don't say what you've just said in English, it will not be captured. That's your choice, basically.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I indicated that during my tenure, my first tenure, I received, the support I received from government was basically the common fund, the District Assembly Common Fund, the GETS Fund, the NHI Fund, and then the Social Intervention Fund.
Please share with us the projects you undertook with this support.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, within my 4 years tenure, every community in Gomwa West, I undertook some projects there. Some has to do with support for community center. Some has to do with school renovation. I also did even some chip compound that I started, some health facilities that I renovated, some health equipment I supplied, and then support to students, and then other young people, support to start business, and then for training.
Did you receive street lights from the Ministry of Energy?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Honorable Chairman, I did receive street lights.
Year on year or just once?
Mr. Chairman, I received 3 times.
And these street lights, Honorable Petu, respectfully, the member who says he received 3 times and you are saying twice, are you the one who received it? These things must stop. You are not the one I'm posing a question to. He says he received 3 times on oath. You are sitting there saying that twice. I mean, why this? Please. He's capable of answering his questions.
Honorable Leader, your point is well taken. Please,
Honorable,
members.
If you are a friend of the committee, Chairman,
please,
you should advise.
There's one meeting, one vetting. And it is the responsibility of the nominee to answer the questions that is being asked. And honorable members should know better and know the rules that the honorable nominee is capable of answering the questions that are put to him. So I will urge you to stay away from communicating with the nominee because the nominee is on the oath. Thank you. Leader, please continue.
So the support in terms of street lights from the Energy Ministry is not part of the Common Fund, Get Fund, NHI support, as well as the SIF support. It's not part of those you listed earlier, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Correct. Honorable nominee, you have stated as hobbies reading, traveling, and teaching. Let's stay a bit on reading. When you say reading, what and what do you read?
Mr. Chairman, I read any literature that that comes to me, I read them.
No particular interest?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Can you share with us any book you've read and lessons you've learned from that? The title of the book and the story and what you've learned out of it.
Mr. Chairman, I read Things Fall Apart by Chenua Achebe.
What lessons did you learn from Things Fall Apart? But before the lessons you learned, just share with us a summary of Things Fall Apart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's one interesting thing I learned in the Things Fall Apart. The summary. Mr. Chairman, I learned about the character. The summary, I would actually put it around the character of Okunku.
When did you read Chenua Achebe? I just want to know when you read that. Yeah.
Chairman.
No. Answer the question, but I want to know how long ago did you read this, Chenua Achebe? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I read Chenua Achebe some 5 years ago, However, when I became a member of parliament, I have been doing so much reading. So I don't get time to do the regular reading that I used to do, because I have to read other stuffs and also have some academic work along the line too.
You must have some memory of what the
Have you taken over?
I haven't taken over. I have just come in. Leader, I haven't taken over. I just want to substantiate what you just said. And I'm saying that if you read it about 5 years ago, that will determine your recollection, unless maybe you have a, what is it called, a photo, yeah. But answer the question so that we'll know how simple or how you struggle to recollect things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. So that is where I said there's one section of General Achievements book which I took very much interest in, and has to do with how we see people who come around us. It talked about when you do an invitation and you bring people together to actually feed them. It doesn't mean that they cannot buy food for themselves, but it's actually for the good of it. So as a person, I believe that any time that you get people to come around you, it is not because they want something from you, but actually to show solidarity and also to portray our culture as Africans and that receptive life that we live.
You earlier referred to Okunko. What have you to tell us about Okunko?
Mr. Chairman, I just indicated that Okunko's love for people and the quest to always bring people around him is something that I have learned from him.
You mean Okunko's love for people and to... Oh, say it again.
Mr. Chairman, I said Okunko's receptive life that is always bringing people together is to show love to them. It's something that I also have learned.
That is what Okunko, that's how Okunko is portrayed in Things Fall Apart. You mean the book written by Chinua Achebe? Would you want to have an opportunity to refreshen your memory now, or will you prefer that you stay clear of this Chinua Achebe book? Since it's been 5 years since you said you read it 5 years ago. I can move away from it if you don't immediately recollect. Do you remember anything about bravery?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do.
And that bravery is associated with who?
It's associated with Okunko.
Now you are back home. But this love for people and all, anyway. You said 5 years ago, so it's okay. At least you remember the bravery part of Okunko. The chairman says that perhaps you refresh your memory, yes, and after this vetting, you come.
I grant you the leave to go and refresh your memory and meet a leader, a week or 3 weeks later, to have a private discussion with him on Okunko. So I will urge leader to move away from the Okunko subject. Thank you, leader.
They said a man's skin must be rough. His smile must be brief. You remember that one?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
You remember that one?
Yes, sir.
And his food must be what?
I don't remember that part.
Okay. So keep that one. Was Okunko very proud of his dad?
Mr. Chairman, kindly come again.
Was Okunko proud of his dad, the man who gave birth to him?
No, he wasn't.
Why?
He felt his father was weak. He felt his father didn't exhibit the bravery of a man.
Now you are back home. You see, I'm bringing you, but now you have gotten to your comfort zone. So after I wasn't being hard on you. All right? So, having read Okunko's, having read China Chibi and Things Fall Apart, what have you to share with the youth regarding the lessons you learned from Things Fall Apart? Things fall apart, the center cannot hold, the falcon cannot hear the falconer.
Leader, I think I appeal to you on the Okonko issue. But since you are Okonko, you know, I just want to tell you that in the same Okonko, it said wisdom is like a goat skin bag. Each man carries his own. That's my Okonko. So take a cue from that.
Chairman, this nominee doesn't need to be helped. He's capable. Just don't worry yourself much. He's my junior brother, and he knows that I won't put him in harm's way. I just want him to demonstrate his ability to withstand the pressures of public life. It is your first time, correct? Your first time in public life, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Have you done any business of your own and on your own, proud to occupying this high office? Yes, no?
Yes.
Tell us about that business.
Mr. Chairman, I am actually, before coming to Parliament, I worked as a corporate executive in the downstream oil sector. Along the line, I had some personal businesses in the sector.
What were those personal businesses?
Mr. Chairman, I had some retail outlets and do petroleum transportation.
Retail, did you register those businesses? Those retail outlets business, did you register them?
Mr. Chairman.
Did you, sorry, let me put it correct, rightly. Did you register an entity to do a business in this country? Sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company. Which of these did you do your business under?
Mr. Chairman, my business I did before coming to Parliament was solely, I do build and then lease out the property. So it was purely
Wait. Mr. Richard Gyan-Mensah, wait. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Proud to this, your current position, are you able to share with us any business that you had initiated, done on your own, not working for somebody, your own business?
Mr. Chairman, I did business as a dealer with my company with a notice of my chief executive.
Right, so let's deal with the dealer. As a dealer, which entity did you register for the purpose of the dealership? Was it a limited liability company, a partnership company, or sole proprietorship?
Mr. Chairman, I did it as a personal business, which wasn't registered.
Meaning you didn't pay taxes?
Mr. Chairman, I paid my taxes as part of my personal taxes. All taxes were paid.
So, which year, from which year to which year are you referring to? Which period did you pay those taxes? So, you mean the profit you made on those dealership business, the retail outlets selling petroleum products, you earn some profit and pay taxes on, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
From which period to which period?
Mr. Chairman, I did up to 2020.
From when to 2020?
So, Mr. Chairman, the business is such that as a dealer, there's a margin that is given to you. As and when you make profit, it is paid. Within the period 2018 to 2020, that was when I was active in the business. But then the business had gone down.
Not a problem. Pay attention to my question. I don't want us to stay too long. So you did that business between 2018 and 2020, correct?
Mr. Chairman, that was when I was actively involved in it.
That's fine. So if we give you the opportunity, would you be able to furnish us with the taxes you paid on those business within that period? Not now, before your confirmation. Can we have those taxes to include in our report?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Leader, you need a leave from me for that.
Sorry. I agree. Chairman, thank you so much. Yes. So, but he's answered us that he will make that available.
Right. Since he's answered, granted, after your answer.
Then you were also talking about building and selling. So explain that business to us as well.
Mr. Chairman, it's not a house and building. It's the same retail business because you have to build before you can be given the dealership.
Build what?
I'm saying that the retail, I didn't say I was selling. So now that I am a member of parliament, I cannot actively take part in the retail business. So I actually lease it out for somebody to operate.
And you mean building a retail outlet filling station, you have not registered it? Is that what you are telling the country? That you build a retail outlet doing dealership filling station and it is not a registered entity? That's what you want to tell the country?
Mr. Chairman, retail outlets can be registered in the person's name.
You have it registered in your name.
I mean, sorry, Mr. Chairman, you can actually get a permit of a retail outlet in your name.
Yes, so all the retail outlets that you built, you have them in your name, correct?
Mr. Chairman, I have one retail outlet in my name.
When did you get that permit?
I took the permit in 2016.
And you have that permit still with you?
So, Mr. Chairman, currently it is not run by me. Permit every year annually is renewed. So the current operator will actually register the permit in the name of the operator.
So, with the leave of the chairman, we'll be happy you furnish us with the very permit that you had in your name at a later date, since you may not have it here.
Very well. Honorable Omi, please answer as I have given you the leave.
So, Mr. Chairman, my old permits in my name are still, I still have them. Even though some Mostly when you do, the permit is given to you, it is kept at the station. So I have to actually call for it.
So this program you call Master of Arts, Energy Law, what does it entail?
Mr. Chairman, it actually deals with the whole energy sector, that is the downstream, the upstream, and then electricity.
Proud to you joining the NDC fraternity. Were you an MPP member?
Mr. Chairman, I have never been a member of the MPP and I've never bear a card of MPP.
You've never borne a card, you mean?
Never.
Okay. So, so you were not a card-bearing member of the NPP, proud to join NDC?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Now, one of your referees says that when you were in school, you were paying the fees for some of your colleagues who were struggling with their fees. You must be a man who embraces charity, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. When I was doing my first master's program, I used to support my colleagues.
And your constituents, which you go into the energy sector, should expect more, correct?
Mr. Chairman, my constituents know that I'm someone that if I have every opportunity, I will help.
So they should expect more, correct?
Mr. Chairman, I'll ask my constituents to be moderate because the economy, the economy that we have now. No, not. We are talking about money economy, not. I'm talking about the money pocket economy.
Explain what you mean by money economy.
When I say money economy, it's the money in your pocket. So there's not much money in my pocket, so I want them to be.
No. I'm not talking about now. Now they will believe you, but they would understand you. Now that you have not entered the energy ministry, but you are going there, you're going to be a board member here, there, deputy energy minister. You're saying that they should moderate? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Should every constituent in need expect your support to the extent that you can provide, irrespective of partisan colors?
Mr. Chairman, this is something I have done even when I was not a member of parliament. But as I always say that it is as and when I have it available, I would always make sure that irrespective of your party affiliation, I will give the needed support.
Some constituents who were interviewed as part of the due diligence we did claim that sometimes you are not reachable. It's a general sin that all of us cannot escape. What assurances have you for them that you would have a system in place for you to be reached?
Mr. Chairman, I have noted this. However, Mr. Chairman, I have a system, even when you call and you don't get me. Before midnight, I return every call that I have missed within the day. Maybe when I call the person back and then he doesn't, his line is also not active, I may lose that opportunity. However, getting into this position, I know there will be a lot of calls besides the work I have. I'll put in place mechanism that would make sure that I'm able to reach out to my people.
Let's deal with ECG. You earlier said that ECD needs to be privatized. Explain the form of privatization you are suggesting for ECG.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the whole involvement of the private sector in the ECG, I am not privy to it. I was only sharing a view that we may look at the billing and then the metering system and also the collection, that we can engage a private sector, at least to ensure that some inefficiencies in the system, they can help us plug it.
So you believe that there are inefficiencies at ECG, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Can you share some of the inefficiencies?
So, Mr. Chairman, as also a consumer of power, and then having been a member of parliament, there are places I've been to that people have complained that they have meters, but nobody comes for the bills. So sometimes you'll be there for 3 years, and then they come with a huge bill, which the people are unable to pay. I think this is also some of the inefficiencies that I've identified.
Would you agree to a suggestion to the effect that there must be prepaid meters across board? Every ECG consumer must be given a prepaid meter.
Mr. Chairman, I do agree that prepaid meters should actually be installed, at least to help curtail some of the losses that we record.
How proactive would this be considered? Because it's a major drain on us as a country. I hope you know that.
Chairman, I just want to find out if the meters, the ECG prepaid meters, is a drain, or the absence of it is a drain to our coffers.
Well, you said earlier that there's a problem with the billing system. And sometimes it takes a year or more, somebody has not been billed. There are all manner of illegal connections. People who are even billed sometimes do not pay. But if you have a prepaid system where through technology consumption is monitored, the inefficiency you are talking about can be addressed. That is what I am trying to ask you, whether in that context you can assure us of a proactive approach in dealing with this situation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that with the prepaid meter being installed across the country is a very good step. However, it's one thing installing the prepaid, it's another thing also people even getting the opportunity when it comes to paying or even buying the paying advance, because there are instances where people have to go and queue before they can buy credits.
No, we've passed that stage long ago, Honorable. Don't take us back. I mean, the queuing for credit, where your credits get exhausted, you finish, and you have to sleep in darkness till the next morning, unless you are not in Ghana. Don't take us back. There's nothing like queuing. Please be up to date. Bring your attention to this engagement. And don't generalize. Bring your attention to this engagement. I'm laying sufficient foundation to guide you. But don't talk about a situation where people queue. That era is way gone. We don't queue to buy prepaid credits, units, they call it, and all that. So please, Honorable, you buy from your phone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know in my house in the constituency, I buy on the phone. In my house in Accra, we go to the vendor and pay for it. That is the issue that I'm actually pointing out.
But so don't say there's queuing. There's nothing like queuing for whatever you want to describe it, but there's nothing like that. I mean, it's a matter of fact. Only yesterday, I was chairing that board. So you are going there. Don't let us create a certain impression. However, Honorable, there's something I would want to share, and it's for you. This is not a question. You see, we as a political class, I believe that the way we act, the public servants, the civil servants, watch us and sometimes they laugh. We say all manner of things about ourselves, and we go and meet a system that we are unable to implement. And even where we want to implement a new, policy, there is a certain level of resistance, and it becomes political. Today, you are hearing of ECG importing items, and those items staying at the port for a long time, and in the end, customs will confiscate, sell to individuals, and they resell to ECG. I hope you've heard that story.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
But the little investigation I did, at the time I assumed the chair in July, when this thing came to our attention, was that the same setup would tell the political head that, oh, this is the system already there. And when you want to disturb it, they would either use a union or use the media to frustrate you. Then when things go bad, it's the same politician. I'm sharing this with you for you to be fortified well enough so that when you get there, you will be bold to lead real reforms in that sector, because only one deputy minister is going to support the sector minister. So you have a lot of responsibilities. So if you are not assertive, you spend your time there, come back, and it's the same political football. Is an advice well taken?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I tried it at Ghana Water. I rather became the victim. And it makes me sad as a politician, because we don't lend support to each other for real reform. So the time comes, election, and the structural defects, the inefficiencies become the subject matter of campaign. And when we are done, the same thing remains. A new person comes and they will be laughing at us. And 4 years will come again. And then the inefficiencies become the basis for another campaign. So I pray that this privatization that the previous administration had initiated, which some way, somehow, it became political, and the previous administration had abandoned. In your time, when the same forces of darkness in the sector are frustrating you, you'll be bold to implement the privatization there. Because I support the privatization, which privatization would bring efficiency. All right? I hope you'll be bold to do that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Support your minister, because there's a serious drain on us as a country. And if we, you and I, do not stand firm as leaders, the system will crash on our heads. Now, that said, let me ask you about the industry proper, where you are going. What do you bring on board? What do you bring on board as a deputy energy minister? What should be the expectation of your minister?
Mr. Chairman, I am going to assist my minister in every way that I can to ensure that he also succeeds on his mandate.
Give us some of the sectors under your ministry, the agencies. List some of them for us.
Mr. Chairman, we have the GMPC, we have the Ghana Gas Company, we have Tema Oil Refinery, we have Petroleum Commission. This is within the petroleum sector. We have GOIL, Ghana Oil Company. In the power sector, we have the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. We have NEDCO. We have the Energy Commission. We have the VRA, Volta River Authority. We have the BUI. And then I think these are the few I can mention, but there are lots. There are about 16 agencies under my ministry.
So you have 16 agencies.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And what will be your contribution in enhancing the efficiency of these institutions? Because I know as a deputy minister, you are going to serve on the boards of quite a number of them by way of the law that governs the operations of these agencies. You would have to be on some boards. What do you bring on board?
Mr. Chairman, I cannot speak to the fact that I'm going to serve on any board, but I can assure that wherever my boss, the sector minister, places me, and whatever task he gives to me, I'll be very diligent and make sure I deliver to the best of my abilities.
So share with us the energy policy of your party. Share with us your energy policy.
Mr. Chairman, the sector, if I derive it from the president, is based on the...
Wait. The energy policy as contained in your manifesto is what I'm referring to. What is the energy policy as contained in your manifesto? If you've not read it, say so. Let's abandon it. If you would want to refer to your manifesto, say so. Because I have your manifesto with me. If you don't have yours, I would give you your manifesto so that you say so. You know, let's be clear so that I don't waste my time on that. It's
Mr.
not
Chairman, I have not appraised myself with the whole policy.
Mr. Chair, that will be all for the nominee.
Thank you very much, Leader. I have number of times, can't recount. I know that Leader and the MPP party and members of parliament are a bit infatuated with the NDC manifesto. And you keep asking us to produce our manifesto. But as a leader of the party, yes, I'm just, please, relax. And many a times, you ask us, is finished, to produce our manifesto. I have said that our manifesto is not a driving license. So we don't carry it with us that you will be asking us to produce it. But if you have an issue in it, please, by all means, but to get our nominees to produce the party's manifesto. You ask them to produce Ghana's constitution, I can understand. But the party's manifesto, which I know you have a copy, I'll grab a copy from you. So, please, leader, I will appeal to you when you ask your questions on our manifesto. But, please.
Chairman, you want to be nominated?
Honorable member, you are out of order. Honorable nominee, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
I'm actually wrapping up. And I'm not asking you a question, actually. I want your view on something. When Ghana became an oil-producing nation, under His Excellency, our former president, President Atta Mills, who is no longer with us, he set up commercial producer of oil. He set up 3 funds, basically not alone, but with the government at the time. I'm sure you are aware of the ABFA, which is the annual budget funding. And then we had a stabilization fund, which is the one that we draw from it as and when need be. There was a third one in his wisdom, as the wisdom of former President Atta Mills, which is known as the Heritage Fund. I'm sure you've heard about the Heritage Fund. And the idea was that he wants the oil that we have today, some of the revenue that come out of it, to be put away for future generation. So it's basically a fund or a sovereign fund which is invested in other jurisdictions to earn revenue on it and build it up for future generation. You are going into the energy ministry. You are a young man. So the future generation that His Excellency Professor Mills thought about then, you are one of the people that he was thinking about, and even those who will come after. That fund has been in operation for many years. Many opinions on it, I wouldn't say government, have had a different thoughts as to what to do with that money. It's got a sunset on it at some stage. But
Chairman, since you're new star, if you appeal to us again, it will be difficult to.
You want to come in, I'll give you the space to come in.
I'm talking to my
But,
deputy.
Okay. Please.
Chairman, this is your sermon.
Uh,
Your next nominee may suffer. Let's finish. He's gone.
And
Discharging.
basically, what I basically wanted to ask you is that what is your view, your personal view as a young man and somebody going into the energy space? What Ghana should use that money for, in your own view? It's not a policy opinion, if you have any, for future generation. This is a personal view. That the man.
Honorable nominee, Chairman is seeking your view on a matter which may lead you into temptation. You know, if you do a political punch, you may be discharged, but your next nominee may suffer. So the choice is yours. You are going to support your minister, and chairman wants to solicit some political views from you to score some political point, I don't have a problem. But if you answer, and I think the answer is very political, I will come up with a follow-up question that may delay you here, or it may affect the next nominee. So as for me, you are my brother. We are all Gomwa Efutu people. I'm just advising you that you can beg of chairman, that chairman, easy, pocho, actually, now we're on sound circle. You
may or may not have a view. It's a view. So please answer the question. If you have a view or you don't have a view.
Heritage Fund, look at the law when it was.
I'm not asking about it.
Mr. Chairman,
But you were asking about what?
His view.
Which view?
His view.
The Heritage Fund was established 2007. Look, discharge your nominee, let him go in peace. When you are going to a slippery, you create problems for him.
Leader.
The chairman, you've had a peaceful day.
Leader.
The law was established 2007.
We'll continue to have a peaceful day.
Kufuor founded oil, and it's under Kufuor that we had the heritage. Look at the law.
Leader, are you enhancing the view question I'm asking, or you are?
Okay, you go ahead.
Please, honorable nominee. Please, your view.
Do you have a view or not?
Are you?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I will actually follow what my minister pursue with this.
This is a policy question. I was asking.
Mr. Chairman, I will seek the guidance from my minister.
No. Right. Honorable members, let's have one meeting here. Okay. Honorable nominee, I am going to. Honorable nominee, I am just going to. I have been given a list of people, friends and family who came to support you. And I'm going to call out their names and thank them for coming to support you. I have here on top of my list Mrs. Anita Pencil Gyan-Mensah, which is your spouse. Nana Kofi Kwa II, Odikro of Gomwa, Jokwa, representative of the Gomwa Ejumakun Traditional Council. Nana Apaba IV, the Queen Mother of Gomwa Imperium, I'm sure I've got the name right, Implumu, representative of the Omahini of Ejumaku Traditional Area. Nana Obu-Mensah IX, Odikro of Gomwa Mampon, is also a representative of the Gomwa Asen Traditional Council. Dr. George Blankson, the former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Our own Nana Sambru Butler, who is the chairman of the Central Regional Accra Caucus of the NDC. Mrs. Sati Okran, Central Regional Accra Caucus, NDC. And then Reverend Loviana Lamle Lamti, Minister of the Prince of Peace Methodist Church, Tabora. Then we have here our own Professor Richard Kofi Esiedu, our Central Region Chairman. And then Honorable Theophilus Edu-Mensah, a former DCE from Gomwa West. I have here others as Mr. Nicholas Owusu, who is the MD of Desert Oil Ghana Limited. Alhaji Mohammed Kasim, who is a constituency chairman, and Nana Ama Ankwa II, who is the Queen Mother of Gomwa Abura who is a representative of the Gumwa Asen Traditional Council. I would like to thank you for coming to support our brother on his vetting. Nominee, I think you have exhausted all the questions. So at this juncture, I would like to discharge you, and you will hear from the committee. You are duly discharged. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.